Now I'm playing with power.
Great graphics.
He's traveled across time and space. Finally, he's here. The ultimate Terminator. He looks mean. He sounds mean.
Fuck you, asshole.
And with the awesome hand blaster, he's a real mean machine. The ultimate Terminator for the ultimate Terminator adventure.
Chill out, dickwad.
You're close. Give them to me.
Somebody said alien. She thought they said illegal alien and signed up.
We're the Space Marines, Drake. Ripley.
I don't know which species is worse. You don't see them fucking each other over for a goddamn percentage.
A-Bone.
You secure that shit, Hudson.
Bishop. And I'm Hicks.
He's Hicks.
Space Marine figures and alien figures, each sold separately.
In the future, you have to defrost a cop to put a criminal on ice.
Let's go blow this guy.
Sylvester Stallone is John Spartan, the Demolition Man.
You shit
The toughest cop in the 21st century.
This is the Rat Burger.
Wesley Snipes is cold-blooded Simon Phoenix.
Hands up!
But Demolition Man always keeps his cool.
Why didn't you just shove a leash up my ass?
It's the ultimate confrontation as power-armed Terminator faces certain death, only to return stronger and more powerful as Techno-Punch Terminator.
I need a vacation.
Terminator 2.
Ripley's got the power loader!
Get away from her, you bitch!
Did you call moi a dipshit?
It's a boy!
Wish I could have met my real dad.
No Hicks! One for dinner, no reservation!
It's the Flying Queen alien and her gruesome gorillas. Send in the ultimate Space Marine, ATAX.
Who?
In his big, bad bug suit.
I'm back. Got to find John Connor.
But evil T-1000 gets to him first.
Holy shit!
Terminator's heavy metal cycle zeroes in and fires. But T-1000 stands to get even.
You're next, John Connor.
Oh shit!
Fuck you, lady!
Good answer.
Win, you little meatball. You are what you eat!
Look, here's the thing.
It's the ever-loving blue-eyed thing. It's clobbering time.
Being true believer. The other one, no organized chaos. Actual fandom.
You should delete your channel. The female version of Dick Grayson is Pussy Grey Daughter.
He's not alive, but he's right.
But really, if you want to do, any kind of like karmic justice back in the fucking world for the damage that you're causing with this kind of shit, you should just delete your fucking channel. Okay? Drink it in. Yeah. Absorb it. Let it wash over you.
very upsetting. It has a bad moral effect.
Forced adversity.
Ask yourself, what's more terrifying, fear or the frightened?
The facts of history and the aggressive impulses of an evil empire.
Bad, B-A-D-D, bothered about Dungeons and Dragons.
Up yours, woke moralists.
Socialism has spread the shadow of human regimentation over most of the nations of the earth.
And they're pushing identity politics with this. They 100% are.
How do you think homosexuals reveal themselves?
And the shadow is encroaching upon our own liberty.
I think there ought to be a law against them. Tonight I'm going to show you why.
Welcome to the madness. Hello. Good damn, it is time. Good damn, it is. Good damn to you too. I remember that. It's crazy. I couldn't believe they were doing that again. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing to have that in the 90s, but you know, I don't know. It's just weird to straight up bring some old action figures, you know, for some kids and shit. Anyway, you know, welcome everybody. It's just me today. Am I audible? Is everyone hearing me? All 14 of you? By the way, 14 of you watching. Hey, that's 14 likes that I could get on this video right now on the stream. 16 likes. Come on, let me see them. Let's see them 16 likes, yo. Let's get it. Let's get it. Because if you don't do it, look, if you don't hit that like button right now,
you're just toxic. Shut up. You're just toxic.
All right. I don't make the rules. Hey. Yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest anime fan. Everybody knows that, but I mean, I was a pretty big Dragon Ball Z fan back in my high school days and shit. Like that's the one that you know, I like all of the big ones from the 90s. I got into those, you know what I mean? Back in high school once again. You know, I'm a fan of Vampire Hunter D and you know, what else was there? Of course, Akira, but I mean, I think that transcends anime a little bit, transcends the genre. It's just like a fucking thing that is good, right? Ghost in the Shell is another one. I was a fan of that. I even watched the Ghost in the Shell like series from way back. Thought that was pretty cool. But Dragon Ball Z is you know, it has a special place in my heart. Well, fuck, dude, like it again. Like it back. Come on. Fuck. Shit. I'm doing all right. I'm a little bit tired today. You know, it's also hot as shit. Hot as some stank ass balls around here. I'm sorry. And I wonder why there's like my audience makeup is like 98% dudes. It's like, and I'm not kidding, but I mean, you know, you might not know this, but you can see like most channels audience makeup is mostly like vast majority guys, because the viewership of YouTube, people who typically watch YouTube a lot, is guys. It's weird. I don't know what they're doing to like not, you know, bring in more ladies, but this is the first time I've even heard of this. What is that? Never mind, I don't care. Morgan, I believe, is going to be late. See what they're. I'll see if I got a message back yet on that. Oh, okay, half an hour-ish. Cool. So it's just you and me. That means we get to talk about the thing that's on my channel. So this is up on two channels this stream, on the Force Diversity podcast channel, which I don't even know if anybody's even watching on that one. It's only got 240 something subs over there because we don't ever promote it. But it does stream there. If you ever just want to stream where there's like nobody at, to go hang out by yourself and watch it, go for it. But yeah, on that channel, it is advertised as the Supreme Court, and how it came to be so goddamn owned by corporations and conservatives. Like, why is the Supreme Court the way that it is now? It wasn't always like that, but there's a reason why it is. We're going to talk about that for certain. However, and this works out a little bit because I kind of threw in a surprise at the last minute and didn't really tell Morgan I was going to talk about this. Alyssa Mercante. I want to talk about Alyssa Mercante. Does everybody know who that is? If you're aware of who she is, you probably know that this is going to be like maybe the second time that anyone on YouTube has made a video about her ever. I'm kidding. Alyssa Mercante is sustaining a lot of chuds right now. Like, she is just her existence and the job that she performs is sustaining a lot of chuds. Gordy, will you leave shit alone, buddy? It's like messing with the blinds and shit. Let's look into who Alyssa Mercante is. But first, we got to go back to Sweet Baby Inc. Dun dun dun. Exactly. Yeah, she's a female games journalist. Not only that, but she's one that talks shit. She talks mad shit, and she talks it well. And that's the reason I wanted to highlight her, is because she's just like, she's a champion. I've been kind of like looking into, see, like, I didn't know this shit was still really going on, but of course it is. I know, right? Sweet Baby Inc. Did all kinds of fucked up stuff. It seriously did. It's really messed up all the things that Sweet Baby Inc. has done. They can't keep getting away with it. They just can't. But Alyssa Mercante, she's just as bad almost. Okay. The things she's done. Oh boy. Oh my goodness. What she has done is unforgivable. What's she done again? I gotta refresh my memory here. Yeah, I don't remember. I kind of lost it. By the way, we finally did it. We hit 2,000 subs over on the Show Clips channel. Thank you for those of you, the two of you that waited for a couple of weeks before you finally just subscribed. Yeah, woke DEI something or another. Yeah, here's the thing though. Here's the thing. Just ignore it. Just ignore it, because that's kind of what we did with if you remember, I called this shit. We had a stream called "There Will Be No Gamergate 2." And this is right after the shit popped off, and at first, and it was like, okay, they're trying to do us a Gamergate 2. And I said, I fucking declared it. I willed it to be, and I was right, because this is it's not a Gamergate 2 that's happening. This is just an attempt at doing the same kind of grift that's been going on, since Gamergate, essentially. And the unfortunate thing is that there are people that become victims of that. Even though it's not nearly the thing that Gamergate was. Like, for example, Gamergate, without Gamergate, it's possible Trump wouldn't have been elected in 2016. No, you shouldn't be calling that. I already told you this, man. You shouldn't be calling it that at all. It's not like, why would you? Frustrating me, man. Don't call it that shit. But Trump may still win this election, but I don't believe that it's going to be because of Gamergate 2. I just don't think that it's not exactly. The search for more money is the more appropriate subtitle of that one, for sure. Yeah, Steve Bannon did some shit. But yeah, I mean, honestly, don't call it, like, if you're not part of that shit, there's no reason you should be calling it Gamergate 2. Seriously. Unless you're making fun of it. But I mean, even then, I would try to avoid it, just because we have the power to give that thing legitimacy or not, even though we are critics of it. Because remember, this is an attention economy, and you can get something trending by talking shit on it just the same way you can by saying something positive about it. Nonetheless, Alyssa Mercante is she's the I forget her title exactly, but she's, look, here, I'll give you a little taste of mercante sauce here. Haha. I just came up with that. I wonder if she's ever heard that before. It's like picante, but mercante. No? All right.
Actually doing the work in your head here, because if there are, not only did separate but equal exist in people's like memory, in the cultural memory of people who are still alive, but then you have rampant policing that is focused entirely on people of color. You have rampant incarceration that is focused entirely on people of color. You have rampant killings by police of people of color, all happening in recent memory. And this idea that like Black folks or people of color or queer folks who are still regularly being persecuted should not have any sort of support in trying to gain a foothold in a space that is openly hostile to them in every corner, and you're proving how hostile you are to them in the way that you act online, is asinine to me. You are just scared that your whiteness does not implicitly put you at the top.
Yep. I mean, that's true, man. You know, like see, there's a problem with these people that have some attachment to being white. It's like, dude, you just are like a lack of you know, melanin. It's not anything special. Like you're a fucking, you know, be proud of who you are as an individual. I cannot fucking imagine being proud of who I am because I'm white. Just because I'm white, because I am, you know. I get being proud of being Black because you fucking live in a system and are the product of generations of people who fucking survived and fought oppression just to, you know, fight for their little fucking chunk of existence. And you're the product of that. I understand that. That makes sense to me. Like, you know, anyway. I know, it really is some of the most base shit. She's a chud annihilator, dude. She fucking annihilates them, and like the comments under her tweets and stuff like that, it's just insane. So right now, if you look, which I don't know why you would, if you look at Vera Dark, her channel, Vera Dark is seeing a day in the sun. You know, I covered her one time like a few years ago, and she just like her channel seemed like it was on the decline. She's really not interesting at all. She's very stupid. You know, but somehow I guess she managed to get her hooks into this mercante sauce, and I'm gonna keep saying that now. She got her taste of that mercante sauce, and now she's like, you know, threatening to fight. Okay, so oh yeah, they already hate Kotaku. That's for sure. There's already, the table was set for Kotaku because they fucking hate Kotaku. Why do they hate Kotaku? Is it just an objectively terrible, shitty outlet? No, actually, I didn't know much about it because I'm not a huge gamer, as most of you know, but I've been looking into it. The reason they hate Kotaku, generally, I'm not going to say Kotaku's never done some stupid shit or printed some silly shit or whatever, but like, is because they have writers that focus on culture. And these writers are not chuds. So they're writers like, you know, Mercante and others who will talk about the perspective of being a person of color in the gaming industry, or in the gaming, you know, just as a gamer, or a woman or a queer person. And like, what is that like? Right? Because yeah, I think it's safe to say that just like the white straight dude is pretty well represented in gaming culture. You know what I mean? We there's no lack of representation of the straight white dude anywhere, really, you know. Oh my god. So yeah, Mercante did a thing that maybe was a little bit silly. I don't know. You know, these people be going after her no matter what. But we talked about a while back, Hypnotic was covering her, and she was talking about actually suing Hypnotic. She had said something about that. I don't know if that's something she decided against or what, but like, Hypnotic was covering her like every single day, had her in his thumbnails and his streams, and was talking about her. And then like she would like respond one time by saying like, "Oh, this fucking people are obsessed with me." And then their whole narrative would be like, "Oh, she's crazy. She's obsessed with us." It's like it's just insane how these guys are like warp reality. And I'm sure that the content creators know that's what they're doing. Like I don't think that they're believe what they're saying, but like the people in the audience maybe probably do, a lot of them, you know. I have not seen that. But so I read a interview with Mercante Sauce on a Hard Drive, which is it's a satirical website generally, but it's a legit interview. And she seems pretty awesome, and you know she's been dealing with shit for a couple of months straight now, and she handles it well. But I mean, doesn't mean she deserves it or should keep getting it. But I mean, I guess I just wanted to highlight because she seems to understand exactly that this is not just a group of people who are upset, you know, baby men, but there is a connection to the broader cultural, you know, political aspect of this little bout of fascism that we're currently struggling with. Man, I could have sworn I had downloaded a video that I guess I did not. Give me just a moment. Where it's at. Okay, here we go. And of course, when I need my YouTube feed to serve a purpose, like to be full of chuds, a specific chud type video, it's not. Even though it was yesterday. God damn it, Bobby. Did you guys hear that RFK Jr. ate a dog and posed with a picture of a barbecued dog? Hear about that? That's true. Apparently that happened. Oh, I mean, we've done a couple of streams on that. I need to really edit the one about the one with Morgan and I did several months ago. But I mean, this was the same year that he was diagnosed with a brainworm. Same year. Unclear if they are related, but holy shit, does it seem like it would be. Okay, so gatekeeping is I mean, I don't know how, you know, I've never seen you before, I don't believe, so I guess you're not familiar with my channel maybe. But generally my views on gatekeeping are that there's no reason to do it. And in fact, it is bad to do unless there is someone being harmed or otherized and you know, forced out of a fandom space. Someone is being tested or told that they're not, you know, whatever reason they're not allowed to be part of a fandom, or because they don't know enough things or whatever, things like that. I think that shit sucks. I think it's stupid. I think it's tiny dick energy. You know, the only type of gatekeeping I believe should exist is, you know, the gatekeeping that's done to keep people out like that behave that way, that do antisocial, you know, fandom shit. Yeah, no, you can't be justifying any freaking dog eating, dude. Like, come on. Ugh. Okay. So, oh, and as for specifically, you asked about oh, and you didn't ask about anything specific. Never mind. It was just gatekeeping in general. My bad. My bad. So this has been going around. Apparently, this got them. This one little 30-second clip right here seems to. Okay, actually, it's not even that long because this is actually from Vera Dark's channel. Tell me she's not milking the shit out of this. Tell me that she's not, just loving the fact that Alyssa Mercante is not, just shutting up and going away. She's loving it.
Games industry is diverse naturally. Not because anyone's making them be diverse. Because the world is diverse, you stupid motherfucker. Your intense.
So that's part of it, and then there's like a few seconds at the end, but the rest of it seems like is a Vera Dark's shit.
Frustration boiled up inside you and then suddenly erupted into white anger.
And if you have a problem with that, come fight me. Physically. Bitch.
Here's what you need. How to relax. Just start reading it.
I don't want to make it all about that because they're all sitting there with their fucking dicks at half chub ready to fucking go. They're talking about me.
You've just experienced emotion. Unreasoning, illogical emotion.
And you can.
So notice that very derp, as I'm going to call her from now on, very derp has edited into this clips from a 1950s program that is, it seems, I don't know what it's about, but it seems a lot like the very propaganda pieces that are part of like the intro to this FAPcast. That are, from that era, it could be oppressive of women. It could just simply be, that could be men that they're talking about, but like just somebody said, hey, I don't like this. And then they're, whoa, calm down. Expressing emotion there. Like the fact that she's using those kinds of clips is pretty telling. I mean, I know she probably thinks she's being hilarious or something, but, you're just a pick me, very derp. Okay. You're being pick me, and nobody's gonna pick you, very derp. I'm sure all the boys in your comment section make you feel good and whatnot, but like you're just very derp. In fact, I have a graphic to show this. Where's it at? Here we go. Here we go. Very derp. But very derp is not the only one that has gotten some Mercante sauce on her blouse. Very derp is just kind of like the one that seems to be relishing in it the most because she's so desperate for like, people to remember that she's a YouTuber and watch her content. And you notice, never mind. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I will not be commenting on any physical anything. Okay, I will say this: if you look at any photo, like on her thumbnails and stuff like that, she's specifically posed a certain way, and she's got her glasses like down her nose. I think at some point she just decided that this is the sexiest thing that she can do, and that maybe this is something that the gamer boys respond to or whatever, and she's just like trying to maintain that exact image forever. Because that's what you got to do when you don't have anything else to offer. Well, there's a reason for that. But I know you know who this other one is, okay? I know you know who this one is. The other lady YouTuber who is apparently been, to some degree, hearing shit from her. Butter Barfing Bible Bigot. You guys know who that is, right? Yeah. Yep. But if you look on YouTube and you just sort of search Mercante's name, Yeah, you would see quite a bit of really negative coverage of Alyssa Mercante. Oh yeah. Yeah. Street Dragon 94 is I thinking some fandom don't want ruined because. Is there more to that? So what the thing that I have a problem with, the reason I push back against this type of what seems to be the statement that you're trying to make, maybe, is the thing that ruins fandoms is toxicity. Okay, the thing that ruins fandoms is I know you are, Craig. We know you are, buddy. The thing that ruins fandoms is when people are shitty to other people that they don't even know, when they're judgmental of people for liking a thing or not liking a thing because they do or don't or whatever, or because they don't know enough or they don't have enough experience with, or so like what does that mean, man? Like, how to explain to me how a fandom becomes ruined by newcomers? Do you mean that people have opinions that you don't like? Can you not like tolerate other people's opinions? So when you say it's ruined a fandom or whatever, that doesn't tell me anything about like what does that mean? Here's what ruins a fandom: when people decide that it's their fandom and not other people's fandom, just arbitrarily for no reason except they just decided that. Yeah, there we go. So actually, speaking of this, the man, the myth, the legend, he's back. He's got a video up as of today, Turf Nation, new video. And it is exactly about this. It is about Star Wars fandom and how it's basically been ruined for a lot of years now. Ruined in the sense that like it just needs to be better. But I figured, man, I just couldn't help it. You're like, I'm pretty. I wasn't gonna fucking take you down from your cloud, buddy. Yeah, exactly, Gina. So talking about preserving fandom or preserving culture is very much like if I were to add a certain color into preserving culture, it would simply be white nationalist rhetoric. Preserving white culture. Now I'm just a fucking white nationalist saying what a white nationalists say. Right? Fuck yeah, dude. I mean, yeah, thank you for clarifying that that's what the Chuds were saying and not you. I mean, yeah, I even welcome Chuds, but I mean, the fact is, not really, because if you're a Chud, if I would consider you a Chud, that means you've already shown a willingness to otherize people for the immutable characteristics or whatever. But I welcome people who don't agree with me. I welcome people who think that what I think is good sucks. I love The Last Jedi. Does that mean that I don't want people in our Discord server that don't like The Last Jedi? Fuck no. No. Chuds love to make it out like that's the way we are, but that is not the way we are. It's not about your opinion being something that we disagree with on the movie. It's about the way that you treat and talk about other people in the fandom, or potential people in the fandom, right? Like, yeah, she's she eats some butter, buddy. She be eating some butter. I don't know. Maybe she doesn't anymore. And if I find out that this is actually part of some like serious eating disorder or something, maybe I shouldn't be doing this, making that kind of joke. I don't know. At the same time, should I care? I don't know. I really don't know. Anyways, Alyssa Mercante is awesome, and I just wanted to say that, and hopefully maybe this gets to her and she will do an interview with me, because I feel like she has a lot to say that the audience would be you guys would love to hear. I mean, she probably is kind of grown kind of sour on YouTube content and stuff, but maybe she just hasn't. I don't know. I know that she did an interview with Blur Without Fear a few weeks ago, like right after this SBI stuff popped off. She did an interview there. That was pretty rad. Maybe she would do one for me. Who knows? Now, if you guys would give me 2 minutes, I got to check on something. But I got this to hold you over. Please like and subscribe, by the way. Morgan will be here hopefully pretty soon, and we can get started on this Supreme Court shenanigans.
And we give it back to you, the people. Let them be yours. Do as you please.
So, I just wanted to get the gang together early in my tenure to say, yo.
These liberals are trying to assassinate my character. I can't change their mind. I won't change my mind, because I don't have to. Because I'm an American. I won't change my mind on anything, regardless of the facts that are set out before me. I'm dug in, and I'll never change.
It's a metaphor for capitalism.
Everywhere I go, I see his face.
Can I offer you a nice egg in this trying?
All right. Thank you. Thank you for waiting. See, I do that for you guys. I could just like, I've seen other streamers where they're just like, all right, I'll be back in a minute. And then they just like throw up a fucking text thing that's like, I'm not here right now. You know? But sometimes I'm like, I got some extra time. I feel like editing something that's not just like a video. I just want to throw some stuff together and have some fun with some edits. And I think, you know what? I bet the audience would appreciate whenever I have to take a moment away from the computer. Just some wacky shit happening with some music, you know? Maybe not. Maybe you don't care. But I care. And that is all that matters. I don't know. Let me make sure I sent Morgan a link to this whole stream. Let's see. Okay. Should be joining us any moment now. Yeah, the Boys comic is not great. It has like there is some element of it's in there somewhere, just like you can tell that Garth Ennis has a specific, like, he's not a bad dude, I don't think. You know what I mean? He's from an era and from I guess a region maybe that like he just really gets off on going to the extreme with stuff. And I mean, look, if you want to appreciate The Boys a little bit more, you should read Crossed. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I made a yeah. I've said this very thing many times. I mean, they don't really try to hide the politics thing anymore. We were talking about that. That's going to be one of the wins that we celebrate with the initiative. By the way, the first win, the video for the first win is going up. I mean, it's up already. It's going to be going out tomorrow. You'll be able to watch that. And I can show you the thumbnail as a teaser. So yeah, look for this video tomorrow on this channel. Not on the initiative on the Steel Clips, because I keep meaning to use that channel to upload stuff, but then I'm like, man, I want to make sure people see this. And that channel is so weird with views. Like, it'll get a video, will get like the average views that I get here, and then I'll upload something else and it'll have like 300 views, and I'm like, I don't get it. Yeah, that's it. That's going to be the video tomorrow. You should appreciate that, all of you. Believe me, we did you a favor. Yeah, Garth Ennis hates superheroes. That's true. It's you know, his Punisher comic can be pretty fun when he writes Punisher, but yeah, the Crossed is super fucked up though. Crossed is basically a zombie. It's kind of like, it's a lot like The Walking Dead if The Walking Dead had no morals. You know, if it had no heart, if it had no characters that you cared about, that's Crossed. If it had a big zombie guy that beats people to death with a big horse penis while yelling horse cock, because it does have that. It does. Let's see. Yeah, man, John F. Trent, John De La Rose, they fell off hard. John De La Rose, poor guy, after getting pushed out at Bounding into Comics because he's a fucking Nazi, he went on to start his own thing, Fandom Pulse. Hey, good for him, right? Well, I mean, no, not really. Fuck him. But Fandom Pulse isn't even really a thing anymore in the sense that, like, he claims that they Google and Facebook was censoring them or some shit. That's probably not true. What I heard is that they couldn't pay for web hosting. So now they've gone to a Substack model. And look, Fandom Pulse is not going to be anybody's go-to as a Substack. But you know who might be as a Substack? I don't know. Here's Morgan.
Hey, folks, how's it going?
Yep, pretty good, pretty good.
Awesome.
Just got done looking at having some Mercante sauce.
Mercante sauce.
Yeah.
Who is Mercante, and what is their sauce?
Well, this is Mercante.
Actually doing the work in your head here, because if there are, not only did separate but equal exist in people's like memory, in the cultural memory of people who are still alive, but then you have rampant policing that is focused entirely on people of color. You have rampant incarceration that is focused entirely on people of color. You have rampant killings by police of people of color, all happening in recent memory. Mm-hmm. And this idea that like Black folks or people of color or queer folks who are still regularly being persecuted should not have any sort of support in trying to gain a foothold in a space that is openly hostile to them in every corner, and you're proving how hostile you are to them in the way that you act online. Whoops. Is asinine to me.
Whoops, wrong thing. No, that's Mercante. I've been becoming a fan over the last couple of days. I happened upon her interview she did with Hard Drive.
Oh yeah, I remember you mentioned that.
I didn't even know that that the Hard Drive did like actual journalism.
I didn't either. I thought it was like a parody thing. Normally it is.
I think they mostly are that, yeah. But yeah, that was a good interview, and there were some jokes in there, sure. Right. But it was a very good interview, and just man, her attitude about this stuff is like, yeah, obviously it'd be better that she wasn't getting the nonsense she's getting, but because she's handling. Oh, okay. Your
Hi,
camera
I'm still here.
disappeared.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
We're good.
Are you okay with being called Morgie Morgs?
Morgie Morgs. I'll allow it today.
Okay. Okay.
One day only.
Mercante's Mercs. Fuck yeah. I mean, I literally used that in the thumbnail. So yeah, I tried doing something different. You guys might see that on Sundays going forward. It might not look like a FAPcast on my channel, but if it's on Sunday, it will be a FAPcast. But I'm just trying to see if I can,
sucker
I think
people
that
in.
some people reject a thumbnail that doesn't look like the thumbnail that they usually see.
Sure.
So like I'm just trying to see if doing like a more typical looking thumbnail and title, and so maybe I might start the FATcast with like a quick segment about something more, like what I normally cover.
Sure.
Then we'll move on from that. So anyway, you know what we haven't been doing? Completely
haven't we
lost
been
track
doing?
of it. Freaking You're the Bub.
We have not been doing You're the Bub.
And there's a new comic called The Life of Wolverine. It is literally just it's a one issue thing where it actually seems to be canonical, even though it takes place at a very specific moment. It's during the ex-death's lives and ex-death of Wolverine. Whenever you know how he lays on the thing and Jean Grey is like plugged into him in his memories and stuff. Well, it takes place during that, right? Like basically, it opens with him laying on the bed, the table there, and he's like, "Look, I want you." She's like, "You know a lot about me, but you don't know a lot of this stuff that you're gonna see. Like you're gonna see a lot of shit." And then it goes through and just gives.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it gives the broad strokes of his life and kind of cleared up a couple of things that I was not clear on with his timeline. And then at the end, it's got a really, really touching ending, because she's like, "Okay, thanks. Now that we're done, I'll delete all those memories." And he's like, "No." It's like, "I want you to have them." He says, "I trust you. The only one I trust with them more than I trust myself."
Aww.
And it's like, oh, but
he lays on the thing, Ben Grimm, and Jean Grey plays.
That's exactly what happens. Yeah, you're gonna make me open the issue and show you.
They show you her plugging in.
Yeah. Oh, God damn it. You guys can't take anything seriously.
No. Dane, you should know by now.
Anyway, we're going to be talking about the Supreme Court.
The superfluous court, now that they've made a king. Who needs a superfluous court if we have a king?
So I've came across a few different things. One, the other hero of this episode after Mercante is going to be a man named Whitehouse.
Of the Sheldon
Whitehouse. Yep. Ironically, this guy with the name Whitehouse has been focused a lot on the Supreme Court for the last several years, and he's got a series that you can, and I would suggest you do. I'm going to be watching it. There's at least 30 entries into this on YouTube on his channel. Called the Scheme or something like that, where you might have even seen at certain points on the news where he does this. He in Congress, he does a presentation and he shows like where all of the money has come from and how it's tracked to the fucking court. And it's a lot of shit, and it's all pretty dry and a bunch of stuff that's not super fun to get into, but thankfully, I found a Rolling Stone article that kind of sums it all up for us.
That's handy.
And that's what I'll generally be working from.
Sure.
What do you got? What are you doing?
Sucks. Well, I have some stuff about Project 2025.
Oh boy. Yeah, we're going to be talking about Project 2025. We're going to lead into that with this because they are actually very related.
Very related. Which is it, like one thing that like I've definitely been trying to find some clarification on as far as like, so one of the things the Supreme Court did in the last 2 weeks is they overturned a 40-year-old standard called Chevron deference.
Yeah.
The long and short version of that is that in the 80s, the court set down a ruling that basically executive branch regulatory agencies, think the EPA, the FDA, et cetera, that it's not the court's job to tell them how to do their job. That those are the experts, and the administration appoints those experts by an act of Congress, because those were all created through a legislation, through a law. And the court was not going to tell them how to do their job unless there was something very specific, another law that they broke, right? And Chevron is Chevron, the oil company, because they wanted to do that. The Reagan administration, EPA, wanted to do some shitty stuff. So it was a shitty court decision in some ways, but very much a conservative one when it was convenient in the 80s. Unfortunately, the conservatives of now, because they have packed the court, want the court to just decide everything. They want to take it out of the hands of experts, and they want one court in Texas to make all these decisions, and have them stand.
Huh.
Right.
Thanks, Ali.
Thank you. So they got rid of that, but a lot of the executive decisions they want the president to do would normally go through those agencies, which now don't have the power to do those things if the courts say so. So what does that mean? And my thought is that they don't care, that like it's there because the assumption is that a liberal would never like actually use the authority they just gave the president, especially because the Supreme Court wrote in that they can change what official means whenever they want to.
Right.
Which is why Biden should do the right thing.
Well,
today.
What you mean, just like murk them fools?
I said do the right thing. You can whatever you think the right thing is that Biden should do, he should do it.
Okay. Well, here is I found this is from fucking MSNBC. But look, sometimes they have guests on that say good things.
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes even the people that work there say something that's kind of that's pretty good. Every once in a while. Not usually Rachel Maddow anymore. But yeah, here is Senator Sheldon Whitehouse on talking about this other ruling, the other one,
the other one,
that one.
That case is called U.S. versus Trump.
Yeah.
Which should tell you everything.
Today was the last day of this Supreme Court term, and it is remarkable how wide the swath of destruction cut by this conservative Supreme Court majority has been, both in this term and over the last 5 years. From, of course, overturning Roe to ending affirmative action, kneecapping the Environmental Protection Administration, completely.
So real quick though, so he's got immunity for anything election based.
Anything. Well, here's the thing, right? Is so that any official, they said any official act or any official act that might be evidence towards an unofficial act. But the president's job isn't to manage elections, isn't to oversee elections. That's not the president's job. That's a state function. By the Constitution, that is a power granted to the states of the United States. The federal government has very little to do with election laws, and actually the Supreme Court in the last few years has struck down parts of the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act, saying, it violates the Constitution because it takes power away from the states, the power of the state to discriminate against black people mostly.
Yeah.
Remaking administrative law in this term to debilitate the abilities of federal agencies to operate. 6 unelected conservative justices, 3 appointed by a man who quite famously lost the popular vote, have reversed decades of progress, all to
5. Because
5 what?
5 Supreme Court justices were appointed by presidents that did not win the popular vote. 5, not 3.
Well, I mean, I think he was just specifically talking about the one that this affects the most, or at all.
Sure, I don't care, but
you're right.
I want to correct
it is 5 that were that. Something wrong with that, man. I mean, I know that's how the system essentially was set up, but like, there's something fucking not right about it.
Yeah. Anyways, continue. I needed to get that out because I hear a lot of people saying, it was 3 that were appointed by people who are not appointed by.
I was thinking about earlier. Do you like all the justices? Do they just like avoid each other than, whenever they're like, I mean, obviously, like the conservatives probably all pal around and stuff, but like, is there no situation where like,
allegedly
Kagan
they eat lunch together? Allegedly.
I can't imagine like that, man. That dissent that Kagan did, was it Kagan that wrote it? That was like, holy shit, man. Like, it just seems like is she just like, you stupid motherfuckers, while they're sitting there eating lunch or what? Like, I don't know. I just can't imagine eating lunch with somebody that did that. And then
I can't imagine they have much to talk about.
Right.
I wouldn't be able to eat lunch with those people. I mean, to be fair, I don't think they want to eat lunch with me.
True, but
I mean, several of their religion call me a nuclear weapon, so, which is hot, literally. But
is that true, or is that supposed to be like a really dark joke?
I don't know, but I would not be surprised.
That's sad. She's she's
my
so
dream
smart.
job.
My dream job, and it's a nightmare.
Yeah. She is like, if you read things she's written, if you read her dissents, she is so fucking smart. If you read stuff she's written before she was on the Supreme Court, she's so fucking smart. She's the only person in Supreme Court history who served as a public defender. Like, and that's just a perspective we should have on our Supreme Court and have not until now.
Did you know that of the 100 and I think 13 or 4, something like that, 39, I don't remember exactly, Supreme Court justices we've had in the history of the U.S., only like 50 of them have graduated from any kind of law school.
Wow, really? It's that few?
Yeah.
Holy shit, I did not know that.
That's satisfied, well, Donald Trump, the right-wing legal movement, and as well the moneyed interests they collaborate with. Now, those same 6 justices have ended the term by essentially granting Trump immunity for, quote, official acts. Or as Senator Sheldon Whitehouse puts it, the far-right radicals on the court have essentially made the president a monarch above the law, the founding fathers' greatest fear. And Senator Sheldon Whitehouse of Rhode Island, member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, joins us now. Senator, your reactions first just to the ruling today.
It was pretty stunning. I mean, we knew this was a court that was out of control, that lets its members violate government ethics laws, that is insulated itself from even fact-finding accountability, that violates basic tenets of just ordinary human propriety. Here they blew through their own nominal conservative principles to get this result, as Justice Sotomayor's dissent powerfully exposes. And as you just pointed out, this is their second upending of big chunks of American law. They have, over 4 decisions, upended the administrative law that protects us all from.
I just want to point out that that's the depth of substance that we get from criticism of Mercante.
Okay.
I know that Tilgareth Deathbringer, I know that the YouTubers that you watch have been telling you this. I know that. That's not the opinion of this stream. Generally,
cool story, bro.
She's actually pretty fucking awesome from what we can tell. Considering she
Seems
gets
all right to me.
Constant fucking videos and streams made about her, and then she says one thing like, "Hey, they're making a lot of fucking videos about me," and they're like, "Oh, she's obsessed with us. She won't shut up." It's like, y'all are the fucking cringe ones. Is from my perspective, man. Sorry.
From my point of view, the chuds are cringe.
Yeah, exactly.
We were always going to bring back the Star Wars,
and now they.
I mean, not really, man. Like, why? Is that what the YouTuber you watched said?
Like, people should fight me? That's not new, right? Okay, sure, it's a little cringe, whatever. This
is what you said. You mean this right here? This right?
Fuck me from the back.
Oh wait, not that one. This one. I didn't know she said that here. There we go.
And if you have a problem with that, come fight me physically, bitch.
I think that's pretty base, man. Like, because the thing is, that follows. The important context isn't that she says that; it's that it follows this.
The games industry is diverse naturally, not because anyone's making them be diverse. Because the world is diverse, you stupid motherfucker.
And then she says, and if you have a problem with that, fight me physically. And I back that up. I'd say the same thing, Anyway.
Anywho.
Back to Mr. Whitehouse. Hey, we're on to a different topic now.
New topic.
Ended the separation of powers to allow the president these extraordinary powers to conduct criminal acts, hell, against members of Congress, against members of the Supreme Court, as long as he does it through official channels.
It struck me, we've talked about this.
No, I didn't. I'm sorry. I can't feel. I know
we're not on
but I cannot. This will be the last time that I fucking respond to you because you've now said something that I know for a fact I never said. I've never said. For one thing, I typically don't describe things as cringe. I generally don't use that. I've said it here and there in very, like minor circumstances, but no, I wouldn't say it about that. And also, I don't think he ever did say he wanted people to fight him. He threatened to assault people. There is a difference.
That's true.
If you don't know what the difference is, I don't know what to tell you. You're kind of a dipshit. I don't know. But like,
well, neither of them are crimes for the president.
I've challenged I've challenged fucking what's his name, Richard Meyer, to a fight. Of course, that got contorted by Ethan Van Sciver into me saying that I was going to assault him. But really, it was literally just like, if you have a problem with what my video says, we can fight. That's not assault. That's not a threatening assault. It's literally just suggesting a fight. Anyway, so try not to be so bad faith. Or next time the mod's going to ban you. I'm not going to be responding again. So, if you're here to troll,
the hammer is loaded.
Otherwise, hang out and learn something.
We're talking about the Supreme Court now, not, somebody else.
This is the sort of ethical compromises that have been so front of mind, and particularly I think the obvious case for recusal from Justice Thomas and Justice Alito, given the sort of involvement of their respective spouses with both the actual January 6th and the flying of a flag in support thereof. They could have recused, and you could have had a 4-3.
Resist. Again, this is a court with these Federalist Society justices, the Leonard Leo billionaire products.
Yes. So there's some operative words right there that he just said. Federalist Society and Leonard Leo. Those two names.
Nazi. Who funds
these two things have way more influence on things going on right now than any one person or any fucking 100,000 people should have, honestly. It's just not okay. So who are those people?
We'll figure. Presuming that Leonard Leo is only buying Thomas gifts. And I don't believe that. There's 350 million people in the United States?
Yep.
Thomas is 1/9 of the Supreme Court, a body of which, thanks to him and the conservative wing of the court, has no oversight and refuses to appear before Congress to answer questions about what the fuck is going on up there. So he has control of 1/9 of the country. That means he has the power of approximately 39 million people.
Oh. What he's rich though, right? He's really rich though.
Right.
So okay, so he deserves it then, I guess.
Clearly, he should have the same voting power as 39 million people.
Now, is Leonard Leo the guy with the Nazi room?
That's the guy with the Nazi room, yeah.
Oh, okay. You guys know about the Nazi room?
Say again?
Hold on now. He's just a really avid collector of Nazi memorabilia. Sorry.
You're I know people who like World War II memorabilia, and I know people who like Nazi memorabilia, and those are different sorts of people.
Yeah, true. I mean, I'll be honest. I like the Nazi uniforms look really good with like blood splattered all over them in movies and stuff like that. I love that shit.
Yeah, when they're covered in gore, filth, gunshot wounds.
You seen the movie Sisu? Fucking amazing.
No, I have not seen that.
It's a fucking great movie. It's so fucking good. It's like all of the action scenes that are in Inglourious Bastards. It's just basically all that, but like in very little slowdown. Sisu's fucking amazing. I suggest anybody watch it, especially, considering everything going on, and if hopefully things don't go any worse, but if they do, I'm going to keep suggesting that because it is very cathartic. It's good for the soul to see Nazis get destroyed.
If you want to see, like if you have kids and want to watch a movie where Nazis get beat up, I would watch the Indiana Jones movies, the first and third ones. I guess some Nazis get beat up in the fifth one. The fifth one's not bad. It's fine. It's better than the fourth one. We don't talk about the fourth one.
Yeah, I think I've seen that one back in the day.
That's interesting.
So yeah, let's learn a little bit about Leonard Leo real quick. So ProPublica, by the way, if you're not, you should just like subscribe to their newsletter. I get their newsletter and I probably don't read it as much as I should, but every once in a while there'll be a, I'll open my email and I'll see something they've sent me that I'm just like, oh, what? Like legit ProPublica is fucking awesome. They're doing, this is what journalism should do, in my opinion, what they do. This guy's a piece of shit. Let's see if I can find something really quick that describes him here. What is this? So he's a conservative activist, and he's poured millions into groups seeking to influence Supreme Court on elections and discrimination.
Sounds about
and a lot
right.
of this stuff just started coming out in like the last,
couple of years.
In the last year or so.
Yeah.
When it became clear that Thomas was just, oh man,
just sucking this guy's teeth, just latch to it. You're the best.
Flush with money after receiving the largest known political advocacy donation in U.S. history, conservative activist Leonard Leo and his associates are spending millions of dollars to influence some of the Supreme Court's most consequential recent cases. And so what you might not realize is that it's not just been like it was suggested there in that clip that it hasn't even been the past 5 years. It's been the last couple of decades that the Supreme Court has been making very specific, and a lot of this stuff wasn't completely clear until hindsight that there was this pattern that was emerging. But yeah, Roberts' court is completely fucking corrupt. They are completely in the pocket of corporations and right-wing dark money.
Yeah. Well, you look at how the Supreme Court has gutted bribery statutes. You basically can't be found guilty of federal bribery statutes at this point. They've gutted them that badly.
So they've protected themselves. They've insulated themselves in that way.
Yep.
And they've essentially made it like, no, we're not really a monarchy because we don't actually have a king. Really, what we have, like, it's more like the Supreme Court is actually who's running the country.
Right. We have and that's the thing with the Supreme Court ruling that I think people, especially on the left, are missing, is that the court cuts out a role specifically for itself to be the final arbiter as to what is and isn't official. Which is why, like, as much as we all would like Biden to use this new power in fascinating ways, that would never stand unless he were to do something very funny with the Supreme Court. We'll call it a big funny.
Yeah, so I mean, look, there's a lot of dry stuff in here that I would read it, but it's just like it's money coming from mysterious organizations to rich right wingers, and then then you get. I would just suggest looking into it seriously. It's yeah.
If you look at there's a case that went to the Supreme Court last year. It was a gay anti-gay rights case. And no one is even sure the company that was allegedly suing even exists. No one actually asked them to do anything. They sued proactively. And they sued the state, so there's not like an individual defendant. And it's just this anti-gay rights group that just got a bunch of money from somewhere that was representing this person. And the result was tailored, right? Like that in the past, that case the Supreme Court wouldn't bother with that. It's like, who? This person doesn't even have nothing has happened to them. So normally if you're going to before a court, Supreme Court or any court, you have to allege something has happened. You can't proactively go, this hurt me, without showing it either it has hurt you or it will hurt you. This is like, I have no idea if this will hurt me. I just want you to rule my way. And then they did that. Very specific thing.
So, I've got there's a website called American Constitution Society, and that sounds like might be some kind of conservative bullshit or whatever, but no, it's actually exactly what they say they are, and you know, in the side of good. So here is a kind of a summary report from them. Dark money in the courts. The far right is pursuing an audacious effort to capture America's courts. Fueled by $250 million in secret dark money contributions, they seek to enact a radical social and economic agenda they could never achieve legislatively. And that's that's a really important part of it, because that's why they're doing it. Because they literally are going against what they know the will of the people would be in almost all of these cases. Like, you can't get any more anti-democratic than that.
If you look at the history of conservatism, that's the point of conservatism. That's the point of the right wing, is they don't want democracy.
Right.
I mean, in America, we have a lovely right wing that has done a very good job of convincing people that they are somehow the party of freedom, the movement to freedom, but they are not. They are the party of removing freedom. They have redefined freedom to the right to do what we tell you. That's why
drop the link. Sorry.
Right to work state is such a fucking doublespeak bullshit.
So in chat, you'll find that link. If you ever want to check that out on your own, I would suggest saving that and just reading through it at your leisure, or leisure. So yeah, this page shares reporting on the secret donor network behind the far right's attempt to turn the judiciary into a tool for partisan and corporate interests. And I can show you just kind of what this looks like really quick, because it's a lot to read. But there's a Washington Post expose as well as ProPublica work that they did. Yeah, so there's been plenty of legit awesome journalism that's been done about this. Is just sadly, for the same reason that we're not going to sit here and read through it, I think it hasn't gotten
so much
traction. It's too much, and it's too dry, and it's like dry. $250 million in dark money, and like you have to learn what dark money is, and you have, what I mean, like if you don't, most people don't have the time to fucking learn all this stuff.
Here's something that's going to break your brain. Super PACs, which is where a lot of dark money funnels into for political reasons, political purposes. That's like the early 2000s, those come into existence. They're like 20 years old.
Well,
if
they
not
really,
that.
I mean, when it became a problem with Citizens United.
Right, that's what allowed them to come about.
Yeah, and like it kind of seems like, honestly, that Citizens United, they might have even made that ruling with this, because when you think about it, that was a really fucking bizarre ruling then.
Right.
It didn't make sense.
Why would you do this? It made sense if you want to do funnel dark money into politics, right. And that's like.
But we were so naive. It was like, well, that can't be why they did it, right? Like there has to be some reason that they.
I feel like that we all knew that's why. Like that was the point.
Maybe I just didn't want to admit it to myself. Then I don't know.
That's fair.
So in the 30s, the courts were fully complicit in maintaining the country as a thoroughgoing ethnocracy, governed openly for the benefit of white men. Public schools in 21 states were racially segregated by law. Separate but equal schools had been affirmed by the Supreme Court as late as 1927 in a unanimous decision allowing Mississippi to kick a Chinese American girl out of her local white school for being a member of the yellow race. The outlawing of segregation is settled law in our country. Nobody would dare dream of returning to those antiquated judicial interpretations, you might say.
But
Several of Trump's judicial nominees have conspicuously, outrageously refused to say whether they thought Brown versus Board of Education, which ended legal segregation in 1954, was correctly decided.
Which would be the easy. Like, if you can't answer that question, yes, you're a racist.
Yeah, you're
and
just
not even
somebody...
like the I've never done a racist thing in my life. How could you call me a racist? Well, you did a thing. You said you don't believe Brown versus Board of Education was decided correctly. Ergo, you're a racist. Sorry.
I was hoping this would just take me to like the quotes of what they did say when they answered it, because I know that there's like, I think I remember Kavanaugh, that would being one of his things, but it might have gotten overshadowed by the butt chugging beer thing.
There is so much like, I really feel bad because I haven't had time to do a proper outline on this, and I really wanted to, but just work in real life got ahead of me. So much of Kavanaugh's, like, there's so many issues with Kavanaugh that fell into the background because of his fucking fuckery.
Boofing beer?
His boofing beer and his sexual assault allegations.
Oh, yeah, the rape.
Yeah. That,
Sorry.
like, he has I'm surprised he didn't write the majority opinion in Trump versus the United States, because he really believes in a unitary executive theory, as far as like his philosophy of the Constitution is that the president should have all of this power. That's something he very much believes in. He worked on Bush v. Gore. Like, if the sexual assault thing wasn't in play, he still wouldn't belong on the court. Sorry.
Nope.
Like,
he sure wouldn't. And I think,
but Trump's list was handpicked, was handed to him by the Federalist Society, and Trump said it. Trump let the Federalist Society pick all his judges.
So here's the rub. All right. So in the era of Chief Justice Roberts, the Supreme Court's Republican appointed justices, by the way, all three of Trump's picks were kind of chosen by Leonard Leo and the Federalist Society. They're the ones who presented Trump with these picks, which means they have very specific agendas. I mean, look, they have to be really, really happy with what's her name, because she definitely got her part of big goal of hers was happened pretty quickly for her once she was on the court. What's her name? Forget her name. The dumb the religious lady, the zealot.
Amy Coney Barrett.
Yeah. Delivered landmark victories for corporate and right-wing interests in dozens of cases, like Citizens United versus FEC, Shelby County versus Holder, and Janus versus AFCSME. Have the conservative justice on the court been effectively captured by these corporate and right-wing interests? If so, what role has the nominations process played, and what can be done to reverse this trend and ensure that the court serves only the interests of impartiality, objectivity, and the rule of law? And the question I would add to that is, can even anything be done in time to prevent it from being too late to do anything?
Unfortunately, so okay. The time to do it was in 2021. But you would have had the problem is you have two Democratic senators who would not do that. You have Manchin and Sinema, who are conspicuously leaving now, who would not do that. And so, unfortunately, bye, nerd.
So, there is a list here of things you can do. And I will, I will link this as well. Because people get upset about things that they shouldn't get upset about, and they get all like, oh, that's inappropriate. Get the fuck out of here.
It's the Forced Adversity Podcast. FAPcast.
Say that the FAPcast is inappropriate? Fuck off, man. Like,
now I hope you're enjoying listening and learning from.
Well, the thing is that I know that person was just here to troll. And whenever we called them out previously, they're like, okay, I can't troll about that specifically. I need to find something else. So then they went to, what was the previous thing? Well, it's gone now. But something like, oh, what's wrong with butt chugging beer? As if that was the fucking point of what we're talking about. And then they said, oh, I didn't get any traction on that. Let me go ahead and try this. There you go. You got what you wanted.
And now they're in the Phantom Zone. Mm-hmm. Say hi to Zod.
So these are things you can do. You can call, visit, email, call your senator's office. Because this isn't just Supreme Courts that's the problem, by the way. I mean, that is obviously the supreme problem, but all courts have been subjected to this shit.
And that's one thing the Biden administration actually has been really good about, is pumping judges back into the system while they've had control of the Senate to try and fight back against a lot of this court packing. Because I know people talk about, the Dems should pack the courts. Well, the courts are already packed.
Yeah.
And we still don't have enough federal judges.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And then just to give you an idea, to show you that this exists. So for any big nerds out there, we're not going to sit here and watch this in we probably could. It's like 20 minutes. Do you think we should? How long we got? What time we at?
Let's not go. I don't want to watch 20-minute video.
Okay, but it's Sheldon White. He's explaining the whole thing with a fucking PowerPoint and shit.
Well, what you should do is clip it and
we can do it really fast. How about that?
All right, do it really fast. While you're getting ready to do really fast, to comment on Mark's comment about ending lifetime appointments, I believe all federal employees should be forced to retire at 62, and you should not be able to hold office after the age of 62. That's retirement age. Get out.
Yeah. So this is number 30, and the 30th time he's done this, where he gets up here with his presentation and does this. But this is actually one of the ones where he goes back and covers everything that he's done already, because he recognized at 30 that maybe he needs to catch people up that been following. So I'd recommend this one if you if you want to watch it or whatever. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but it just to kind of give you an idea of what it looks like, so you can conceptualize this. Is really what I think. It's brilliant for him to do this,
right?
Because he's.
And this is an actual slideshow. This isn't a PowerPoint. He has printed out boards.
He's actually showing
value, motherfuckers.
The reason it's brilliant is because he's like, here's the terms that you need to understand. Agency capture and regulatory capture means the same thing, by the way. It just is essentially what we're experiencing. That's what's going on with the Supreme Court and other courts as well. Yeah. $580 million in dark money with the specific effort, intention of capturing the court.
Well, it's like one of those things. They'll say, "Oh, well, it's that my friend bought me gifts." That's not like bribery. Like, I'm not a Supreme Court justice. If my friend buys me a gift, and I don't like my friends that much, that like if they're like, "Morgan, I want to buy you a gift so you do something for me at your job," I'd be like, tough shit.
So he's explaining, you've got you've managed to get the people in there that you want to work in the court.
Right.
How do you get them to do what you want?
Well, you pick them because they're the sort of people that will do what you want.
Right.
See, this I want to know about so if you don't know what a amici curiae is, it's a friend of the court. So people who have an interest in the resolution of a court case can write what's called an amici curiae brief and send that to the court, to the official docket as part of a court case, and not even just a Supreme Court case, any federal court case. And it's added into the official record of that case. But there's a lot of suspect groups that have been on the rise, putting that in. This has been on the rise since like 2010, as far as I'm aware.
Trial briefs in the Supreme Court, even though they're not a party to the case. And they come in, and let's say that there are a dozen of them. They're coordinated. They send the same common message. And that way, the justices who've been put on the court through this court capture scheme are kept up to date on precisely what it is that their big donors want. Now, when I say fake amici, I mean that these are groups who don't very well disclose who's behind them. It doesn't say, we're here from Koch Industries, we're here from ExxonMobil. It's intermediating groups that have mysterious sounding names. I'll give you one example right here. This is a group of organizations managed by a guy named Leonard Leo, who was basically the fixer, the factotum of the right-wing billionaires who spent the $580 million to capture the court. You need an organizer, you need an orchestrator, you need a guy who runs around and does the stuff, and Leonard Leo is the guy. And he has his own little group up here of companies that report to him and pay him. This is how he gets money out of the scheme. But down here, he has this array of front groups that he and his allies control. 85 Fund and Concord Fund actually exist. They are corporate entities under Virginia corporate law. These other entities, Judicial Education Project, Honest Elections Project, Free to Learn Action, Honest Elections Project Action, and the Judicial Crisis Network, actually don't exist.
Wait a second. The Honest Elections thing doesn't exist? Is that what he said? The Honest Election something is the name of it?
Honest Elections Project Action, yeah.
The fucking balls on these pieces of shit, and just like they're just fucking mocking us as they do it, you know?
They are, under Virginia law, is fictitious names. That's the legal term for what they are. Fictitious names for these entities. So in one of the cases in which these phony front group amici appeared to tell the captured justices what it was that their donors wanted, Honest Elections Project filed a brief. It did not identify itself in its brief as being a mere fictitious name. It did not identify itself.
So that definitely sounds like a major fucking problem in the process of filing shit. Like,
yeah,
I mean, Jesus Christ, how do we not have a better system for this? Like, you got to prove more shit to get a credit card. Seems like, you know?
Esben is spitting in chat. They have a very interesting take on.
The role of SCOTUS is not at all common to Western democracies. It functions more like the clerical councils typical to Islamic courts. Oh, don't tell any fucking MAGA folks that. Unelected group of scholars constantly reinterpreting the law while rejecting the idea of a living document. They're actually uncovering the true meaning of the text as it always was.
There's a reason that why textualists, the idea of textualism appeals to the religious right. Neither of those groups really care what the texts say. They care about making the text say what they want it to say.
Yeah. I mean, especially considering like they will be really specific about it being, it needs to be exactly what the text says, except for the Second Amendment, not that one.
Not that, or the First, or
that one too.
The Constitution.
Well, hey, you could argue that they broadened the first one by giving corporations the ability to have speech too, you know, with Citizens United. No, this is what you get. This is exactly what you get with Citizens United. This is guys, hey, look, not many people get to live to see the downfall of a great nation. I'm kidding. Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, I think the truth of the matter is that the U.S. fell a while ago, and you don't notice it's fallen until until someone else finds it.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like a relationship that goes bad, right? It's like you're having problems and things suck and stuff, and then it kind of hits you both, maybe some if you're lucky at the same time. Like, wait a second, we haven't been happy in this shit for quite a while, have we? Like this shit's been kind of dead for a minute. That's where we're at.
I think our government is brain dead on a federal level. I don't think it died of natural causes. I think it was killed. Because we have a court that is bought and paid for. Because while not every district court and every circuit court is bought and paid for, at the top it is. And we have very clear evidence of that. For our Congress to do anything, you need 60 out of 100 senators. Not a majority, not 50 plus 1. You need 60 to overcome the filibuster, which is not in the Constitution.
Right. Like over enough time period, it is possible for legally shrewd motherfuckers with no, real morals except power being their driving goal.
Right.
Like to game the because I do believe still that with continued vigilance and the right tweaking done to the founding documents as they were laid out, like this, it was a good system. I just think that it was a little bit too good and allowed certain people the freedom to manipulate it to their advantage and against everybody else's.
Right. I think that there are some things in the U.S. founding that would need to be readdressed. But I think in order to do that, you would need a legislature willing to do that, a president willing to sign off on it, and collectively they would all need to tell the Supreme Court to get bent. Because the thing about the Supreme Court that we as a country, since the 50s, the moderate right to left have all sort of allowed to creep into the cultural zeitgeist is that the Supreme, we'll just do what the Supreme Court says because it's the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has no enforcement power because the executive branch has the enforcement power. That's the checks and balances, right? Is that the court can say whatever it wants. It can interpret it however it wants, but the executive branch has to make that happen. They could just not. Yes, that causes a constitutional crisis, but we're in one already.
Right.
And we have a brain dead. We have a legislature that's been rendered brain dead. It cannot act because you need more than you need a supermajority of senators to get anything done. You can't do anything. It's a paralyzed body. All it can do is appoint judges.
For a while, but I mean that was like that for a while. Now it has been taken off life support, I believe.
Right. And now the Supreme Court saying the president can do whatever he wants. That as long as we say it's okay, because we can change our mind. They left in that ruling space for them to change their mind, to designate things as unofficial acts.
Depending if there's an R or a D next to the president's name.
Right. Yeah, that's the difference is the R or the D, right? Like everything Biden does.
You're right in that, and Bob I think has it right underneath your comment there. Ed, what's up, Ed?
Yeah.
How's it going, by the way?
Hey, Ed.
That was an inciting incident. It was not something like there were the attitudes and resentments and entitled fucking shit and just the sheer bigotry and power hungry nature of all of this shit has been stewing. As we talked about it a while back, and we talked about the John Birch Society.
Yeah,
that it is the John Birch Society there's a lot of the same views and attitudes and stuff that are becoming the mainstream Republican talking points now. Were like those were the things that were they were shunned.
Those were
presumably
farther than far right 70 years ago. The mainstream conservative talking point now is farther than Nixon, is farther than Barry Goldwater.
That's why I don't, that's why I've always fucking scoffed at like Ethan Van Sciver or whoever else being like, they just don't like Republican. I'm just a conservative. It's like, hold on, man. I mean, you are, sure, but like to act like it's the same thing that it was even 20 years ago is so dishonest as to be revealing, right? Yeah, it is. It does go back that far. I mean, obviously, if we wanted to keep going, we could say that it goes back to just slaveholders in general.
It goes to the concept of
Reconstruction was not finished. We talk about Reconstruction. It's called Reconstruction historically, but it wasn't actually reconstructed in a way that
finished.
It wasn't done. It started to be. There was actually a lot of progress being made in terms of like, black people that were holding office and stuff like that, and then that freaked people out that are racists, and they found ways to. We'll probably have to go into that sometime, I think.
Well, because
I don't really know
you have, because the South was not all rich aristocrats and slaves. You had poor and middle class white people as well, whose lives also improved after, or or during Reconstruction because A, they weren't being conscripted in the military. And two, it turns out there's jobs have to pay now, and that means if you're a skilled laborer, you can charge more. Because now it's not like, oh, okay, well, I already own a person who can do that. And I can make that person teach someone else how to do it, or I hit them with this long whip. Now you have to pay that person. So if you're just a white guy who can do that, well, now you can go, hey, you got to pay me for that.
Yeah.
Hey, I can sell my service to teach people how to do that. So it was good for everyone unless you were a former slaveholder, and then you got fucked. And they have worked very hard to undermine that part of the education. And that's why the states' rights myth is so prominent, because it's like, oh, the rich Northerners took all the stuff away from you. No.
No, I was listening to Behind the Bastards recently. They did what's his name? Jefferson.
Oh yeah, Thomas Jefferson. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
Isildur. Yeah. I like to think of him as like, so for those who know Lord of the Rings, Isildur is the guy who cuts off the One Ring and defeats Sauron, but he doesn't throw it into the volcano. And I feel like Jefferson is kind of that guy. Like, he was the guy who wrote a lot of our founding laws. He was very influential in that process.
But what's interesting to learn about is him being like he spent a lot of time over in Europe, and he's in his private time he's writing a lot of the writings that would then go on to influence abolishing slavery, and he had some pretty profound things to say about why essentially that slavery sucks and no, you know what I mean, but like at the same time he owned slaves, and he refused to meet like there were probably not that many, but there were people who were slave owners that at some point were like, oh, you know what, this is not good, gonna free these slaves, and that slavery is bad, right? I'm not gonna try and call them heroes or anything. Like, good job finally doing the right thing, fucker. But like
I think there is something heroic in an age where that is the norm to free your slaves. Like, I think there is something genuinely heroic about that. I don't want to say that they were a good person their whole life,
right?
But they did a heroic act.
I'd say it's more noble than heroic. I'd call it noble, but not heroic. To be defiant in the culture that is like prioritize that. But nonetheless, Jefferson just was really bizarrely talking out of both sides of his mouth, and he was coming up with excuses for why. Well, yeah, we need to get rid of slavery. It's evil, but like not right now,
right?
You know what I mean? Which when I was listening to it, it kind of reminded me of the way an addict talks. Like, yeah, no, I'm gonna quit. I've got to quit. I mean, not right now, but like,
well, I think that's the behavior. Like, power is addicting, right? Like, I think that is pretty well demonstrable in human history, right? And right now, like, as much as the right likes to say that it's our government overreach and it's our president and our executive branch when they're controlled by Democrats, and the legislature that is too much big government. But really, who controls our lives? Who controls where you are most of the day? Is it the government? Or is it your boss? Who controls if you can get health care or not? Well, it's your boss, but it's also the boss of the insurance company and the boss of the hospital.
Yeah.
We're owned by the rich, and they're addicted to it.
Yep. And
that's why they fight every little thing, right? They used to, and I mean, given the chance, they'll do it again. They'll send mercenaries against, unionists. They engage the same firms that now just have nicer names and use more clandestine tactics to sabotage unions. But
what's really frustrating is that, like, honestly, I kind of, one of the things that kind of makes me doomered doom her out on this whole thing is, Biden. The fact that the left rightfully is, like, yes, we need to be rejecting and criticizing and just flat out shit talking Biden for his foreign policy when it comes to Israel in particular. But like, he's also been the friendliest to unions president we've had.
Yeah.
And the fact that the left doesn't focus on that,
ignores it.
It kind of tells me that can I say something? Hot take?
Yeah.
I kind of feel like that the left in the US is not really a thing. In the sense that, like, I think it's just been it's constantly being undermined by, I don't know, I can't say for sure what the source of it is, but like misinformation. And you get people like what's his name, what the show fucking, the one guy that did the Force the Vote guy.
Oh gods, I have no idea. There's so many leftist commentators that I like.
But I'm talking about that. There's a few of them though that are like, obviously, people they have a lot of leftist fans, people that call themselves leftists. They say this guy's
like
the leftist. No, because I believe that generally they kind of mostly are, except for Anna Kasperi and her
Jimmy
whole
Dore,
thing, right?
Yeah, well, Jimmy Dore has moved hard.
That's what I was thinking about. Jimmy Dore is exactly what I was thinking of. That kind of guy, and then Jackson Hinkle, and then these types of guys. Like, I think those guys are, I don't know, I have no evidence that they are like, somehow propped up by any kind of dark money or right wing forces or whatever, or just capitalists in general. But it's hard not to suspect that to some degree. You know what I mean? That guys like that are, their whole purpose is to fucking just glom onto leftist talking points and then absorb people who otherwise would be pushing for genuine leftist goals into their little fucking cult of personality. And then you get things like Force the Vote, which was just fucking stupid. Like, there's no reason to have done that. In fact, I was watching a debate on David Pakman's channel the other day that had it was Nominski Konst, someone else, I forget her name, and then fucking Brianna Wu. And Brianna Wu is sitting there like, first of all, man, she looks like she is out of her mind. I'm sorry, she does. Like,
she's got a lot going on right now, and not all of it's good.
No, I mean, she doesn't. She's. I think she's fucking somehow been. I don't know if she realizes it, but somebody's fucking controlling her ass. She's just an idiot. I don't know, but like, she was actually arguing with Nominki about who was making some great points about essentially this, that like, there are these elements of the left that popularize and not even the left, but like outside the left, that are able to successfully get people to see the criticism, for example, of Israel's treatment of Gaza as anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
And that becomes the narrative. And then like Brianna Wu sitting there pushing that too. She's like, well, it actually is really troubling how anti-Semitic, and it's like, and they were trying to explain, like, no.
She's really bought a lot of the pro-Israel arguments. It's one of my biggest issues with her. She's also kind of a transmedicalist.
Yeah, I mean,
so
based on the
leaks, her and I have some issues.
I mean, like, look, yeah, it sucks that she was a victim of targeted by Gamergate, and I will never say that's good. But seems like everything post that, she kind of sucks.
She's had some shitty takes for sure. No, I think here is what I have noticed on the online left, and specifically on the Twitter left and the YouTube left. And I've actually found a lot of better takes on Blue Sky. So shout out to Blue Sky. It's been,
but the problem is that Twitter and YouTube somehow have managed to become extremely fucking influential.
Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely. But
does anybody know what I don't remember what it is exactly. It's a very small percentage of people that actually use Twitter though.
Yeah.
And yet it has way outsized power in the discourse. It's crazy. Sorry.
No. So with the online media, leftist media, whatever you think that is, they have fallen for a trap, and I don't know why. And that is, they are all agitated that Biden is old and Biden didn't do well in the debate, and Biden should or shouldn't Biden step down, and why can't we say Biden should step aside? And it's like, why is this the talking point this week? We all knew Biden was old. We knew Biden was old 4 years ago.
I mean, if I'm granting
in the
benefit of the
last-
doubt, it's fear. It's just panic, and I kind of get it.
I agree.
but like,
your job is
it
not
also
to
just
panic.
doesn't do anything good. You have to
Right.
understand that. Like, I saw you commenting to, I think it was Jesse Gender was doing this.
Yeah.
And you I think that was it, that you had replied to her like, yeah, this really shouldn't be the thing we're focused on right now. And it is concerning, because I don't think Jesse Gender is like some kind of fucking bought and paid actor
No, but
for anybody.
I think it's easy to be upset with Biden, and it's easy to be panicked. But now is not the time for panic. Now is to go, why is this what the media is talking about? Right? Because I don't think Jesse Gender is a, she's a leftist commentator in some ways, but she's not a journalist. She's not, doing reporting, doing interviews.
No,
etc.
what
So
she
she's getting her
is a
news from-
she's a very fucking strong advocate for trans rights, which kind of makes it more puzzling to me.
Right.
That she, I've learned so much
right
from her.
And like
about,
this week is really been bad for trans rights as far as the Biden administration goes, because they kind of rat fucked us, and I'm not super thrilled about that.
I mean, I haven't looked into that. I meant to ask about that, and honestly, like I feel like an asshole that I haven't looked into it, but I saw
that's
something
fine.
about it.
So I'm not going to go into it right now, because
Okay.
you know what? I hate to say it, it doesn't matter right now.
Deserves its own segment, honestly.
It deserves a conversation. I want to talk about it, but right now I want to play the mission.
Okay.
I
just want to say real quick before you do, and you can go off. Is that yes? There's people are scared. I'm scared. Morgan's scared. But
yeah,
how does expressing it to the degree that people are not make it more likely to come true? Our fear. It's the only. That's all I see is like, okay,
Because
look, get your fear in check, and then just do the right thing. Do what needs to be done in a practical sense anyway, right? Like, don't steer into the fucking black ice. You know what I mean, or whatever it is.
You don't. No, you turn into the black ice. You don't try and swerve away.
Don't swerve away from the black ice. Turn into the Thank you. All right.
So, in the last 2 weeks, we have had probably the worst 2 work weeks as far as jurisprudence in the history of America. Maybe the Dred Scott decision is worse. We can debate the finer points of that, and I'm happy to be told this is second worst week in American history as far as the Supreme Court goes. Yeah. The debate was bad, yes. I don't think Biden was the worst person in that debate. I think he was the 4th worst out of 4 really bad people. I think Trump couldn't say 2 words without having them both be lies. I wish I would have pulled it up in my list of things to bring up if I had more time today, but someone like noted every time Trump lied, and it's basically every sentence was a lie, demonstrably a lie.
I know he said "the" a couple of times, and I don't think he was lying then.
Maybe his pronouns and prepositions weren't lies, but maybe they were. They were used in they were accessories to lies. They're guilty by association.
The important thing to remember, and I wish people could think about this, is like what we saw of Biden on that debate stage. That's not how Biden is all day long, every day.
All the time, yeah. Well, and
he's an old fucking guy. If you've ever been around an old guy, they have moments. And no, that's not what you want to see happen. But like, I don't know. Anyway, sorry.
After that, a week after that, we had the Supreme Court declare that any Republican elected president will effectively be a king. And we are talking about Biden's age. If you're talking about Biden's age right now, myself included, I'm dumb. I don't want to be talking about Biden's age, and we shouldn't be talking about it because we all knew about it. Should he step down? Should he step down? I don't fucking know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. Biden's one guy. Biden's one. Like, yeah, the president's very important. A Republican president is even more important because he'll be a king. But you have senators and representatives and governors and lieutenant governors, and if your state's secretaries of state and treasury and education are elected positions, those are important people. Your mayors, your town council, your county executives, your school board people. The right wing of this country built its power base starting in those local elections. And we're making the same dumb mistake that third-party voters do, thinking, oh, we just need to control the presidency. In 2 weeks when we have been told, no, that is not the rules of this game. That is not the rules of this game. Maybe it was at one point, but it's not anymore. We need everybody else. All those other people matter more. Biden's job is to sign paperwork. That's it. At this point, because they've got executive agencies, because courts can overrule executive agencies for whatever reason they want, just because of their vibes, right? They don't need a reason. They can just say it. The reason the right has been so successful, especially on like all the anti-trans bullshit, is because when your expectation on the left is that the president is going to stop that with the Department of Justice and the Department of Education. If 100 school districts and 30 states are pushing anti-trans shit and you have to fight that one at a time, you can't do it. We need to fight them on the ground, not in the Oval Office. We all know that doesn't work. And it works worse now than it did 3 weeks ago when it still didn't work. So Biden's the guy. If Biden isn't the nominee, I'm going to vote for who that is. If Biden is the nominee, I'm going to vote for who that is. But either way, they matter the same. Their weight is equal, and that weight is mostly symbolic at this point.
So do you think it's like the fact that people are focused on this instead of that? And I think there's a larger conversation to get into, and I think we should, about the role that corporate media plays and their goals in this.
That's why this is the talking point. That's why, because every media site, whether we perceive them as left, right, or center, or far right, they're all corporate owned. They're all for-profit business, and at the end of the day, Trump and Republican fuckery is really good for business. Those people fucking spend. 2, when people are panicked and scared, they watch and they read the news. And that's how these companies make their money. But also, even us here on YouTube, right? We're subject to an algorithm. We're encouraged to talk about what's going to get views. And what's getting views? Oh, Biden's age. That's the big media talking point. We should talk about that.
So I don't think we're going to be able to get too much into Project 2025 tonight.
No, I don't. I got on my soapbox.
No, it's fine. I think it's just we'll have to look. We got time, not a whole lot, but we got some.
Yeah.
So basically, probably what you're going to see is that we're going to be dipping into Project 2025 a little bit at a time for the next couple of weeks, and then we're going to see at some point in a couple of weeks how much of an influence does it have on the Republican platform when that's announced.
Right, that's going to be announced not after next show, but the following show. So the Republican convention is the 17th through the 20th. So the 21st. The morning of the 21st, I have left free to read the Republican platform.
Well, as Will pointed out here, there has been a pretty good amount of Trump distancing himself from it.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Trump distanced himself from 2025, where he's both never heard of it, but has heard of it and is not involved in it. So, he's lying. And also a bunch of people who...
It's partly written by a guy that was right there on his staff.
Stephen Miller worked on his staff.
Connected to it.
Yeah. His speechwriter wrote for 2025. He knows what it is. But Trump can't say good morning without lying twice. So, yeah, Yeah,
I mean, I don't know that I've seen him have that attitude. I mean, of course, I've been getting texts from the fucking Biden campaign, and it's like those are all pretty. They're honestly, they're worded pretty well generally. They've struck a good, of course, it's just the campaign, not him, but like they've struck a pretty good balance between the kind of like the terror that they should be instilling, and then also just like some confidence in. So hopefully that's working better than Biden himself is. I don't know.
Here's what I would want from the Democratic Party. I want a 50 states pro-choice initiative. Yeah, I saw that was one of the people who wrote for it, who is one of the leaders of the Heritage Foundation.
Oh,
yeah, he's
Tiny Faces group, right?
No, that's a different one.
Oh, okay.
It's a young Republican group. Fuck. It's been a long day, so I'm sorry, I'm blanking on that. You everybody drink. But yeah, I think that we need, because abortion is doing really well in red states. It's doing really well in purple states. Run on it. Run low for starting from your county council up. Everyone gets on message. Everyone bangs the drum. Yeah, that's the guy. It's not Tiny Face. Yeah, it's this guy. Woke AF has it. Thanks, Sib. But yeah, I like the Democratic Party. It's worked for them for the last year. Is that like this Supreme Court has fucked us? We need to unfuck it, and we need to unfuck it from the ground up. Because here's the thing: the same way that like the Biden administration can't fight every civil rights violation caused by Republican school boards and county councils across the country, if we had 1,000 different state amendments and local ordinances and stuff that were all ways to protect abortion and are ways to protect healthcare access for trans people and for minorities, there's still procedure that has to be done for all of them. It's time that we weaponize that back, and it has to be holistic. This is why I've been like on the vote up ballot, not down ballot this whole time, because it starts local, and that's more true this week than it was a few weeks ago.
Okay, well,
I'm gonna fall asleep as soon as I'm done ranting too. So just so you know.
Yeah, we're hitting 2 hours, and normally go longer than that, but it's probably a good idea to just call it there.
Yeah. So I think the reason that is because she's in the House, and articles of impeachment have to start in the House. But the Democrats are the minority party. The Republicans aren't going. You're not going to lose one Republican vote to that article of impeachment. So it's kind of a political stunt. Now, it is a stunt she should absolutely take.
Yeah, because that kind of thing can't get attention. That's why you do a political stunt.
That's why you do it, right? Is she's not doing it because it's going to go anywhere. She's doing it to keep attention on the issue, and it is the right thing to do. And I wish other Democrats would try and push that forward as much as they can, but unfortunately, they can't make it go anywhere. They can just bang the drum and go, "We need to do this. We need to impeach the Supreme Court."
Well, so we do have a former president who had some words to say about current events. We'll say that, and I think we can look to the past, and just kind of let's absorb these words, and maybe we can kind of process things a little better.
Welcome to the FAP. Nancy used to do that for me. Handsy Nancy, I called her.
Hey, death fucker cringe bro, I hope you're still around for the FAP. You can't tell us because you're in the Phantom Zone, but if you're watching from the Phantom Zone, tell Zod I said hi.
Did you see about RFK eating a barbecued dog?
Right. Well, yeah. No, I did. Yeah. Well, he had
God
literal
damn.
brain work, so
I mean, honestly, like, look, I don't want that guy to be president or anything, but like, and he's not gonna be. It's not gonna happen. But like, in a way, considering that like how Trump's first administration was like, because they didn't expect to win, they just didn't know what to do with themselves, and they didn't really get a lot of shit accomplished. That not like they would this time. They definitely would this time. But it would be preferable if RFK won over Trump for that very reason, because like he wouldn't know what the fuck to do. I don't know.
You know what I want? Here's what I want. I want like if I could have him do one thing, I want Joe that he would conceivably do, because I don't think Joe Rogan would ever do the right thing. I want Joe Rogan to, Joe Rogan. I want Joe Rogan to endorse RFK Jr. for president. I want him to do it. That will cost Trump so many votes. I want him to do it. I want him to do it so bad. Just like, Joe, you know what? I will buy you a huge bag of weed, and not that weed that you get like from people who like make money, like weed from the city, like good, proper weed.
Yeah. Well, here's what I have to say about Trump.
You're just toxic. Shut up. You're just toxic.
I hate that movie, but it's a good use of it.
All right, guys.
All right, folks.
We are, by the way, Showcast is pretty much on hiatus for the month of July because everybody's got stuff going on again.
Oh no.
You might see, maybe me and DJ or something. Me will pop up on a Wednesday and do a stream instead. But yeah,
and I'm sorry I was a short shifter tonight, but I had things come up. So
hey, you got stuff going on. That's okay.
I'm an in-demand figure.
You made it here. That's all that matters. Wait, you could do another podcast or something?
Oh gods, no! I don't have time for another podcast. I would never cheat on you, Dane.
That's what I thought. Can't be letting my people. I don't know. Burning Lucky Charms, huh? Okay. All right. Well, I got a clip here. I don't even really know exactly what's in it, except that I'm pretty sure that the stuff of that one dipshit Kevin, what's his name, the Heritage Foundation, saying some stuff is in here. We'll see what happens.
Kevin Roberts.
It's a 2-minute clip, and then please like and subscribe. Also, check the merch page.
Check the merch store. Praise is the Praise Bill shirt fixed so I can buy one finally?
I will fix it whenever we get off of here. I actually have to go on there anyway and mess with some back end stuff to get it all set up. So yeah.
I have been waiting to buy one once that gets fixed because Praise Bill.
Also, check out tomorrow. It's going to be pretty important video. Initiative videos going up on my channel. First thing in the morning. I will remind what that is.
I have to be up. I have to be up at 7 a.m. tomorrow. I'm so mad.
Well, you'll be able to easily see this video, which it's kind of a big deal. It's kind of a big deal.
That's fantastic.
You're welcome. The initiative, essentially just reduce the influence of bounding into comics to where it's we neutered it. Look, we neutered it.
Well, that guy, his eyes like got punched in the dick. So I think you really just you neutered him, just like ripped his dick off.
Yep.
Which
and it's done with a little bit of a lot of humor, a lot more humor throughout that than I expected because of the way that I formatted the edit. So yeah, you'll see. It's pretty funny because what we do. We got together to look back at all of the times we covered bounding into comics and then comment on how the outcome of our coverage is that first of all, the John F. Trent doesn't work there anymore. The Nazi doesn't work there anymore. They've cleaned up their.
Wait, they only had one Nazi?
Well, the only one that we know for sure.
Okay.
John Del Rose. And they're gone, and then they've cleaned up their image. They're still conservatives. That hasn't changed, but they're not putting just outright disgusting transphobia and homophobia in their headlines and not even their articles. They're not even quoting, Catholic bishops anymore or anything.
When I want my pop culture news, I check out a Catholic bishop.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I say that, but there's actually a priest I do follow on social media who is he does IT for the Catholic Church around the planet. So he's an interesting follow as far as technical advice. I certainly don't agree with his religion, but he's all right for a Catholic.
Well,
It's
here's
a
a.
sketchy, so there's all right Catholics out there.
So we were looking at it, and then we saw where like I finally watched their video where they talked about our video about them.
Oh yeah,
over a year old, their video, and like but what's fucking hilarious about it is right at the beginning of our coverage, we started we did one of our jokes about the bricks and dimes thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Eric July's a brick. He's called his wife a dime. And we, I started a joke at one point where it's like just been a running gag where it's like, oh yeah, with these bricks and dimes getting together, we can't have that. You know what I mean? Stupid joke, absurd humor. And these guys take it so seriously when they're watching us in our video, and like the first several minutes of their video is them trying to break down the layers of our joke. Like, wait, what are they saying by this? Blah, blah, blah. And it's really like, guys, we're not saying anything. We're just saying silly shit because it's funny to say. It's absurdist humor. It's not satirical in any way. But they didn't get it. Nonetheless, here is a quick clip just from, all of our coverage that's pretty damn funny. And then we'll watch that other one on the way out the door. Yeah. Whoops.
Oh, there, you argue like shades of gray. It's like, no, there's only pure evil. And it's like, I don't even remotely understand how to tackle that argument because it's so detached from reality and how people think and operate. I could literally make the argument that Hitler isn't pure evil when he's doing art. I mean, what argument are you making?
Yeah, that's a Vosh level thing right there. I'm not going to touch that.
Like, that's the thing. Even Bob, who's like the epitome of like a good person, right? Still fucks my mom every night and makes me watch. Like, there's evil in everyone.
And I'm generally a pretty good person too, but I fuck his mom and his dad, and that's like, what am I doing that for? Why? And I make him watch sometimes. What's wrong with me?
And he stares at me the whole time. It's just
eye contact is required.
He's giving my dad back shots, and he's just like smiling at me. It's kind of weird.
No, everybody does it. It's normal. I don't know.
There's a little taste. Love you guys.
Something.
Have a good night.
Have a good night. See you next Sunday.
I come full circle in this response and just want to encourage you with some substance that we are in the process of the Second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be. I come full circle in this response and just want to encourage you with some substance that we are in the process of the Second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be.
And this is important, okay? Like, it's pretty important. If you don't take anything else from tonight, if you don't remember anything else, I need you to remember this. I need you to remember it, okay? You ready? The female version of Dick Grayson is Pussy Gray Daughter. Okay? Drink it in. Yeah. Absorb it. Let it wash over you. Okay. As long as we're on the same page.
For the future.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part. I didn't do fucking shit. Not gonna be a whore, Frank.
You're already a whore. Why not make some money at it?
Let's fucking go.
Don't think, act.
You can't see my penis, man.
I said give me dong or give me death.
Just keep it flying.
Keep it flying? And why do you want to keep it flying?
Why would anybody want to erase our heritage?
Well, some people would say that flag symbolizes racism, it symbolizes slavery, and they might have some valid points there.
That's their opinion, they're welcome to their opinion if they want it.
Are you pro-slavery or against slavery?
I have no comment, but thank you for the interview.
I'll give you one more chance. Pro or anti-slavery?
No comment.
I'll give you one more opportunity to say if you're pro or anti-slavery.
No.